Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Battlefield 5's ground vehicles. Now there hasn't been pretty much any information given to us at this point about Battlefield 5, so today we're going to be doing a little bit of speculating based off of the information that has been given to us so far. Now, if you're a Battlefield fan like myself, you've probably heard all of the rumors and leaks floating around out there that Battlefield 5 is going to be taking place in the World War I era. Now, I strongly believe that DICE will be taking us back somewhere in the World War I timeline between 1914 and 1918. The years that the First World War was, for those of you that live under a rock. Now, this is going to be a pretty drastic change in terms of gameplay, vehicles, weapons, etc. You guys get the point, than what we're used to. But without further ado, guys, let's just jump right into this. So if you guys do not know, there's this guy named Liam Robertson, and he had posted a picture on Twitter of the Battlefield 5 listing. Just shows you the platforms that it's going to be on: Xbox One, PS4, and PC. Nothing new here, but there was a new little bit of information there that was kind of hidden up there, just a little title, and when I did translate that, it translated into multiplayer tactical shooter in World War I. So if that's not definite proof, I don't know what is, and that is if the leak is real or not, though. But jumping into kind of the heart of this video, so basically in Battlefield there are three types of ground vehicles. There's going to be tanks, there's going to be APCs, or armored personnel carriers, and there's going to be transport vehicles. So if they do go back into World War I times, I do believe that they're going to be sticking to this kind of main three platforms. So without further ado, let's talk about tanks first. So this first tank that we're going to be looking at here, guys, is going to be a British tank, and this one's going to be the Mark V. Now, the British did come out with, Mark 1 through 4, but the Mark V was probably the most popular that they did use during combat. And as you can see here, if you think of a World War I tank, this is kind of the first thing that pops to mind. At least it does in my mind. So it doesn't have a main gunner. It looks like it just has two side turrets, kind of posted out on the side there. So I believe that it's going to be kind of like an LAV type of vehicle, or a LAV type of style, I should say, where you have the driver's seat and then you have two main passenger seats, and those are going to be the gunners on the side. Now this next tank I want to talk about is called the A7V, and this is going to be a German style tank, and this one's pretty much going to be the same as the other one. Of course they're all going to look different, but they're going to have the same sort of functions, if you will. So again, these ones have two of the side turrets posted up on the side there that you can that you're going to be able to hop into, but instead of the first one, instead of the British Mark V, we're going to have a main turret on this one. If you look closely on the kind of like top right hand corner of the screen, it's kind of hiding there, and obviously this isn't a dated picture. This is a replica that someone has made and is now in a museum, but I think this would be pretty cool. It looks pretty different than what we're used to, kind of like the typical style, like the tread tanks. This one is going to be pretty cool if you see this rolling around in the battlefield. So these next two tanks are going to be French tanks that I'm going to be showing you guys, and the first one is, bear with me while I botch the shit out of these names, I'm not French, the Schneider CA1. So this one is going to be kind of more or less the same that we've been seeing here, kind of like a tread tank with two of the side turrets posted up there that you can hop into. Now this next one that we're going to be looking at is very interesting, and I really do believe that if they do go back in time again, that they're going to be putting this tank into the game. This one is called the Renault FT17. Now, with this one, it's a two-man tank, and as you can see here, it's a lot smaller than what we're used to. It has that main turret on the front there, and as you can see, the little hatch doors are open, so you can have a second person jump in there, and that would be really cool to see, because we're used to these big old clunky tanks, you know, the M1A and the Abrams kind of floating around the battlefield. So this one would be very cool to see, just kind of a small personal style tank. Alright, so switching gears here, guys, we're going to be taking a look at APCs. The first one that we're going to be looking at here is going to be called the British Austin Armoured Car. Now, as you can see, this is just another replica. It has really no slits, no windows that you can see out of, but in the real game and in real life, they're going to have just little slits, little just kind of like viewing holes that you can see out of. But I believe this would be pretty cool if they add this into the game to kind of get your buddies from point A to point B safely. It's just going to be kind of maybe like a 6-man, 4-man, 5-man vehicle. And this next one here, guys, is going to be another British vehicle. It's going to be a Rolls-Royce, and obviously it's not the Rolls-Royce that we're used to, but this one is one that they have adapted in World War I times to be used in the military. Now, as you can see here, this one is a little different from the last one. It is still going to be beefed up, still going to be armored up, so really no personal man is going to be able to kill that with his gun. But it is going to have a gun of itself, of its own, here on top that you can see those two guys are sticking their heads out, popping their heads out. Now I believe that if they include this one, it's going to be maybe a 4 to 6 man vehicle as well. So you're going to have 1 to 2 people driving in the passenger seat as well, gunner man up front. As you can see there on the back side of it, it's going to have a little bed. So I believe that you're going to be able to jump in there and then you can shoot out the back using your own personal gun. And this one right here is going to be the German APC, and again, bear with me while I botch the absolute living hell out of this name. It's going to be called the Erdenhardt EV4, and this one's going to be more or less the same that we've been seeing, just beefed up. Nothing's going to be getting through that. Just get your men from point A to point B safely, you know, probably a 4 to 6 man vehicle. So last but not least here, guys, we're going to be looking at the French APC, and again, one more time, please bear with me with this name. If there's any French people that's listening to this video, please feel free to comment and embarrass me down in the comments below. This one is going to be called the Peugeot, I don't know. But basically this is going to be just more or less, again, the same as the Rolls-Royce. Going to have just a little turret up front, maybe a 4-man vehicle, just kind of like the typical Jeeps that we have in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. And the last category that we're going to talk about here today, guys, is going to be the transport category. Now, when you think of transport vehicles in World War I era, this is kind of the first thing that pops into my head. Just kind of like the typical Jeep with the long flat bed on the back, but it's going to have the canvas over top to kind of guard your men inside. It's going to guard them from the weather, guard them from the bullets. You're not going to be really able to see how many people are in there, so it's going to be a kind of surprise when you roll up and you see a bunch of dudes just kind of hurling out the back of that thing. But this kind of reminds me of the vehicle that they used in Indiana Jones when they were transporting the Ark of the Covenant. And if you haven't seen that, please, what are you doing watching this video? Stop this right now and go watch that. But yeah, this is going to be kind of like the main transport vehicle that I believe that we're going to be seeing in Battlefield 5. So the last picture I want to talk about here today, guys, is going to be this one. It looks like it's going to be kind of made out of looks like it's brought out of a textbook maybe. And the main type of vehicle I want to be talking about from this picture is going to be the top right. So it looks like it's going to be kind of the same style as the one before, just without the canvas sheet over front, maybe a little bit smaller. It looks like it only has 4 wheels as opposed to the one before, looked like it had around 6. So this one is going to be maybe a 4-man vehicle or a 6-man vehicle as well. Again, it's just going to be made to go from point A to point B. You really don't want to stick around in those. It looks like you're going to be having a driver's side, a passenger side, and then maybe 2 to 4 people in the back shooting out with their own personal guns. And then as we can see here, the bottom right and the top left is going to be kind of just like the typical Jeeps. I believe those are going to be maybe the ATVs of Battlefield 5. And you know, as you guys know, if you guys played Battlefield before, the ATVs are pretty much just a vehicle that you are in for probably, I don't know, probably around 30 seconds or so. They're just used to get from point A to point B if there's nothing else on the battlefield. If you run up to a base, all the tanks are taken, all the LAVs are taken, all the aircraft vehicles are taken, so you're left with the ATV just to get from, you know, Alpha to Bravo or Alpha to Charlie, what have you. But yeah, the top left one is going to be just kind of a picture of a Jeep with a turret on the back, and it looks like that would be pretty cool. Just again, a 3-man vehicle. Same thing with the bottom right, just without it. And yeah, I could really again see those being the ATV type of vehicles in Battlefield 5. So this is where I want to end the video, guys. These are my predictions on what types of vehicles, ground vehicles, that we're going to be seeing in the next Battlefield game are. And I do plan on making an air vehicle video as well as maybe an artillery and weapons type of video to showcase what we will be seeing in Battlefield 5. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.